Welcome in, everyone. This is Sean with MTG 808 Jr., and I'm here with Mike.
What's up?
And Eric couldn't be here today, but he
Shout out to Eric.
sends his regards, yes. So we are going to be recapping our most recent youth tournament.
First of the year.
Yeah, it happened on January 4th, so the first Saturday of the year. I wasn't there. I just got to experience it through the wonderful pictures that were posted on our Facebook page,
Yes.
which you should go check out if you haven't already. But we had, what was it? Six people?
6 people, yes.
Yeah, so kind of small turnout, but the people were hungry.
Yes.
Right? You could see
Oh, yeah.
it. So Santino and Isiah both came in top 4 in the
Four.
scholarship
Yeah.
tournament, right? And you could see just kind of like how it lit a
the
fire
program.
in them, right? They were like so close to that success, and they were like, okay, got to come back and, step up the game. And they definitely did.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Isiah is playing still mono black.
Mono black,
He was
yeah.
playing lifelink at the scholarship tournament, and now he's playing
More along something like aggro, mid-range.
yeah, it's a little
Mid-rangey.
it's less focused on like a lifelink theme, and it's more focused on like here's some the best mono black cards.
Yeah.
Right. And then Isiah had such a good time at the scholarship tournament, he brought his friend
Yes.
Ty from Hanalani schools, and this was his very first tournament. Ended up coming in second place.
Yes.
Right. So Ty picked up
Mono green.
yeah, mono green. Basically, JP's list from the scholarship tournament made one slight change, which we'll look over, but took it all the way to second place. So shout out to Ty. And then
Oh, yeah.
Santino still playing his
Golgari mid-range.
Golgari mid-range. Basically didn't change anything from
No.
the scholarship tournament, right? And then
A.
we've got A here. Parents asked that the name be withheld, but she...
Came in with mono green, just kind of mono green monsters,
Yeah.
essentially. Just like,
And you can tell that she like built her deck. She's
Yeah.
a fifth grader. She
know.
has a twin sister that she plays with.
yes.
And it's very clear that like this is a deck that they kind of built
Yeah.
at their kitchen table, and it's
Brought her
it's
to
competitive.
success,
Yeah. So we're going to be looking at all their decks. We will have links to all of them in the description of the video, so check those out. Before we jump in full hog, check out our Patreon page if you want to support the channel. Of
Shout out
course,
to the Patreons.
yeah, of course, watching the content, liking the videos, subscribing to the channel, great way to support the project. But if you want to go above and beyond, you can join our lovely patrons who make everything that we do possible, and sign up for a monthly subscription to
Yes.
donate to the project. Everything that we do is completely patron funded. We're all volunteering our
Yeah.
time to do what we do, and we would love to have the support. So even if it's just like $1 a month, it would go a long way to helping us and making sure that we provide
Oh, yeah.
awesome youth opportunities for the youth community here
Yes.
on Oahu.
Yes.
All right,
yes.
so jumping into the decks. Okay, so that was our top 4, and then Eric and Boss
yeah.
with blue-black mid-range. And it's clear that the blue-black mid-range archetype is evolving as well, so I'm
Yes.
excited to look at that. But let's start here with A's deck. She came in 4th. Mono green, right?
Yes.
The reason I said that you can kind of tell that this was kind of brewed at a kitchen table is because there's not a lot of 4-ofs. Usually, when a deck is built to be competitive at a tournament, you try to identify your best cards and try to play
Max out.
more 4-ofs just to give yourself the best odds of drawing the cards that you want most often. But there's no bad cards in this list, so
I think she just took the welcome decks and just added more cards to it because Frilled Sandwalla, Prize Unicorn, they're
Yeah.
in the welcome decks.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what's in the welcome decks, but it would not surprise me if that was a starting point, yeah. But she came expecting a fair amount of flyers with main deck copies of Crushing Canopy and Snare Spinner. Also has 2 Mammoth Spiders in here. So was the metagame kind of full of flyers? The 2 decks that didn't make top 4, were there flyers there? Because
No.
there wasn't very much in the top 4.
There
Okay,
was
so
0 flyers.
maybe a little off on the metagame ball there, but I mean these cards are still fine,
Yeah.
right?
Enchantments.
Yeah. Doesn't hit artifacts, but with and we saw a fair amount of equipment creeping into people's main decks. So Crushing Canopy might not be an appropriate main deck card given the metagame, but
because if she went down on the canopies and added more rabbit bites, I think it'd be just as good.
Yeah,
just because she has a lot of big creatures and they're gonna hit.
Yeah, I would also not mind seeing just more like Leafkin Druid type effects, because she's got all these super powerful 5-drops and 6-drops here, and just being able to play them a little bit earlier, I think would give her a lot of the... It'll let her execute her game plan more often, right? Because everyone loves like slamming down the big 6/6, right? And doing it on turn 5 or even on turn 4. Just lets you have that much advantage over your opponent. But this is like a very good starting point for a green deck. Would love to see where she ends up taking the archetype. If you've been following the channel, we're switching to Artisan.
So
there's one more standard Pauper tournament, and then we're switching to Artisan. So, maybe
Paradise Druid once next month hits.
Well, keep your eyes peeled for. We are going to be doing some videos, kind of just like previewing the best seeds for the Artisan format. Like where are going to be the best starting points that we've identified. Mono green is probably going to be a deck. Spoiler warnings. So we'll see how much of this transfers over to the new format. But congratulations to A. She's been playing for a couple months now.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe like 4 or 5 months.
I think when school started, in fact.
Okay, yeah, so since around August. Yeah. So congrats on making the top 4. You did it. Love to see where this goes. All right. That was 4th place. 3rd place was Isiah. And as we said, right, like less emphasis on the lifelink theme. I think he took out all of his lifelinkers. And he's just playing like good cards, right? Lazotep Reaver, Sanitarium Skeleton. We saw both of these be very frustrating for his lifelink deck in the scholarship tournament. He was like, you know what, these cards are so good, I'm just gonna put them in my deck.
If I can't beat them, join them.
Yeah, so he lost to Santino in the Swiss, and then he lost to Jansen in the top 8 in the top 4. And then he and Santino played to see third. Who had third, who won.
Oh, man. I forgot who won third. I think it was. I'm pretty sure. I think it was Santino. No,
okay.
Wait. I don't know.
Well, regardless, they played a second time in the tournament, so he had lots of exposure to seeing like how good Sanitarium Skeleton and Spark Reaper kind of were, and he was just like, you know what, I'm going to put it in my deck, and it seems to work out. This is a very slow engine, right? Spark Reaper, 3 mana, sacrifice a creature, you gain a life and draw a card, you sack your Sanitarium Skeleton, and then you get it back. So it's a 7 mana loop to, like, get back to where you started, but you end up a card and up a life. So, like, when the game stalls out, this engine is going to just allow you to overcome a board stall.
And it gives you something to use your mana with, like, later on.
Yeah. And in the late game, it gives you a good soul salvage target, right? Because you're like, okay, I'm going to go get my engine piece now and then continue to outgrind you. So, yeah, he's just playing, like, a good mid-range package of black cards. Moonmark Painter seems a little bit out of place here, because you would expect to kind of see this card in an aggro deck. I'm not sure what other top end is available. Like, I would maybe want to see something like Ill-Gotten Inheritance or something on his top end, right? Because the rest of the deck is just kind of like stay alive, right? And then Ill-Gotten Inheritance would just kind of like let him close the door on people. But yeah, Burglar Rat is good value, Reaver is good value, Hired Poisoner is very efficient. And then just his pile of removal. Even got a Giant Skewer in here. I think Giant Skewer is not as good in this build as it would have been in his lifelink deck. But, I think it's a fine equipment. A little slow, but, I mean, his whole deck is meant to slow down the game. So, he's got a decent sideboard here, right? There's the Ill-Gotten Inheritance. 4 Undead Servant. That's spicy.
Yeah. So he was asking me, like, the week off, he was like, what is good in a mono black deck? So like I was looking at ideas, and like, one, I haven't seeing the Undead Servant, and I figured against Control or the other mid-range decks, this is a good piece to have, because it seemed like he has Witch's Cottage, he has Soul Salvage to kind of bring back those creatures.
Yeah, and if the game goes long enough that you've drawn enough percentage of your deck, you're bound to hit multiple copies. Although I can't help but wonder if Gravedigger isn't just better in those spots.
Yeah.
Right? Gravedigger is so powerful.
Gravedigger possibly going in place of Moodmark Painter.
Yeah. Because then just getting like back your Burglar Rat or your Spark Reaper.
Or even a Hard Poisoner.
Yeah. But I mean, like, I think Isiah, we're seeing him evolve as a player, right?
Yes.
Because he's moving from like, okay, I'm going to build my theme deck to I'm going to build with just high quality cards and make sure that they work together. So props to Isiah. He's definitely hungry. He's got the fire.
Yeah.
Nothing says that you want to do well at Magic as getting your friend to start playing so that they can help you practice, right? So his buddy Ty here, who he dragged to the tournament, this is essentially JP's list.
Yeah.
It's just -3 Frilled Sandwalla plus 3 Silverback Shaman.
Mm-hmm.
So he kind of like cut down on the 1-drops to add 5-drops and didn't fix his mana, right? Because he's still just playing 22 lands. So would have loved to see him get like a 23rd land in here. I'm not sure what the cut would be, but
that's a hard cut. I mean, you could probably trim. I'm not sure if you would want to go down on maybe reduce one, maybe a Rabbit Bite. I don't know.
Yeah, or just like, I don't know. It just feels weird to me to be playing 3 5-drops in a deck with 22 lands, because I mean, I wasn't there this day. I don't know if he was not hitting 5 lands, but we consistently saw JP at the scholarship tournament play games where, like, on turn 6, he would have 2 lands.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that happened over and over again at the scholarship tournament.
True.
So, I don't know how Ty's games went, but just that would be my one recommendation to him if you're listening to this, Ty. Be aware of your mana curve and then how many lands that you're playing, because the reason this deck got away with 22 was because it was playing it was playing 15 1-drop creatures and then 7 more spells, so it was playing 22 1-drop spells.
No, well, actually he does he's not running Growth Cycle, because JP's build was running Growth Cycle, or I mean Insatiable Appetite, so there's less of the pumped spells. So
and what is he playing instead? He's playing more Fierce Witchstalker, right? JP wasn't playing the full set.
Yeah.
So he cut that.
So I think he went to go bigger.
Yeah.
So, I would say
maybe the cut is one Fierce Witchstalker or 1 Silverback Shaman to get the 23rd land. But even that is cutting it close. Yeah. But I mean, it worked out well enough for him. He got his second place. First tournament that you show up to, you take second. That's quite an achievement.
He was running, like, not much of a sideboard. I think his sideboard was more meant to deal with the flyers.
Yeah.
So
extra removal spell and then more flyers. Yeah. Cool, but yeah, that's awesome seeing somebody just like I don't know if he had been playing prior or if he like started when he saw his friend like do well in the scholarship tournament, but the shows up, makes second place in his first tournament. That's pretty
Shout out to Ty.
Pretty awesome. Yeah, so go Ty. Love to see you at future tournaments. And then Santino coming in first, green black, mid-range.
Yeah.
This looks pretty much like the same 75 from the scholarship tournament, right?
Oh,
we have the Spark Reaper. Oh yeah, no more sideboard because it was confusing.
I think for him, yeah.
Yeah, and that's fine too. Like keeping the same strategy intact in game 2 and 3 is better than sideboarding, right?
Yeah.
So, we see the Spark Reaper skeleton package. And then Snare Spinner to help slow the game down. Hybrid is a good late game mana sink. Soul Salvage is good in the late game. So is Silverback Shaman and Witchstalker. So yeah, good tools to kind of slow the game down. This is the definition of a mid-range deck.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Eric actually helped him come up with this package, right? That's what he said when we were recapping the scholarship tournament. Mm-hmm. So it makes sense that Eric built his blue-black deck in this way. So his build of blue-black, we saw Jansen win the scholarship tournament with blue-black, and Jansen had been working on his specific version of it.
For quite a bit already.
Yeah, like he was really into playing the Lazotep Reavers. He started playing the Aven Eternals to have the Amass package, and Eric was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna pump the brakes, and we're gonna just like raise the curve a little bit. And instead of that Amass package, he's playing the Spark Reaper Sanitarium Skeleton package. Which, is this real? Is he playing 62 main deck cards?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Or maybe
1923 lands. Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to check with Eric on this. Yeah, maybe he is, because he's got the full 15 cards in the sideboard. I don't know. You should never play more than 60 cards. And the reason for that is because you want to maximize your odds of executing your game plan as often as possible. The more cards you have in your deck, you're diluting your mathematical probability of drawing the card that you need in a specific amount of time. But we see Eric here. He's playing Witching Well as his card advantage spell, so I am not the biggest fan of this card, but he was really high on it since preview season. I would honestly rather just play Tamio's Epiphany, but I think, splitting the investment, I guess appeals to him. I'm not going to tell him that it's strictly worse, but, there are upsides to playing Witching Well over Tamio's Epiphany. I just personally think it's less powerful. But Sanitarium Skeleton... See, this is one of the reasons why I was reluctant to switch over to Artisan, because, we're seeing, for a while, we were kind of afraid that the metagame was stagnating.
Yeah.
Right? And in a sense, it kind of was, because we kept telling the kids, if everyone's playing mono-white aggro, you just show up with a control deck, and then you take it down. And then finally, Jansen does that and takes down the Scholarship Tournament after playing that deck all season. And then... this is kind of like the build of mono blue the build of blue black that's meant to beat the other build of blue black, right? Because you see the Sanitarium Skeleton just is going to allow you to accrue value over a really long game.
Oh,
right?
Yeah, for sure.
We saw that Control Mirror play out, and you're just like, spend my removal spell on your 1/1 zombie army, right? Spend my removal spell on your Cloudkin Seer, right? And so if you just have a recurring 1/2 that you can always get back, then, that's going to be a huge edge in a Control Mirror.
And I think I don't know, I just see more usage of Omnixilis Cruelty just to answer those kind of... It is
a good answer to the skeleton, yeah.
And I think there's how many copies is this? 4, 7, 8, 9, 10 copies in top 4, I guess. Because Santino's running it.
Cruelty or of skeleton?
Cruelty. Okay. Isiah's running it in the sideboard. 4, 8. There's 11, 4.
And then in Eric's deck. Yeah.
So yeah,
so that is one good answer to the skeleton. You're right.
So, and even looking into, Theros, a lot of things are graveyard based. Well, you see a lot with the escape mechanic. I think this is a good answer for creatures with escape.
So with Artisan, commons and uncommons will be legal, and even though uncommons will be legal, Omnixilis' Cruelty is one of those commons that will probably still see play, even though uncommons will still be legal. So but he's got the Devious Cover Up for the super late game. He's got the 5 drops to kind of help him turn the corner, and then the Spark Reaper Sanitarium Skeleton package to win a long game, and Forever Young. Eric's
card.
This was his pick for the most most impactful card from Throne of Eldraine.
Should have 4.
Yeah, I do like this over Soul Salvage in those instances where you just need to cycle it, right? Because you can just choose 0 and draw a card, and then when you do cast it, if you're getting more than 2 creatures back, then in some ways it's better than Soul Salvage. So, yeah. This is an interesting take on blue-black. Got a little bit of everything in the sideboard here. Heart Piercer Bow for the 1 toughness dudes. 1 Undercity's Embrace in case he runs into the hexproof problem. And then some counter spells and duress, yeah. So, we saw Jansen get to a point with Blue Black where it seemed like this was kind of like the optimal version, right? And then Eric was just like, yeah, well, here's how I want to build it, right? And I don't think we ever made a video on this, but the way that I built Blue Black was with 4 Mantle of Tides, and then you're just playing Audacious Thief and Cloudkin Seer, and so you're just consistently drawing that second card, and then you get the free equip, so your like mid-range beaters are all a little bit bigger.
Ooh.
So there is still room to explore in the standard Pauper metagame, which is why it's bittersweet that we're switching over to Artisan. So our last standard Pauper tournament is this coming Sunday. Saturday at Mini-Q Pro Ridge. Yeah. I'm not 100% sure if I'll be there. I might be able to pop in.
Yeah.
But yeah, Mike and Eric will be running it, and it'll be a good time. So come on down, check it out. Hope to see more people there, and we'll do our goodbye standard Pauper video to recap that tournament. But also keep your eyes peeled for Artisan content. We are going to start kind of just talking about where the starting points in the format are going to be, and then once the full Theros spoiler is out, we are going to be doing our picks for top cards out of Theros.
Oh man.
So yeah, keep your eyes peeled for that. Let us know what you think about these decks. Any feedback whatsoever at all about the project, anything that we're doing, would love to hear it. And of course, hit that like, hit that subscribe button, check out our Patreon,
please.
we will catch you next time. Peace.
Laters.